Let's imagine you're texting with a woman, you're really happy because she's so beautiful, you're into her, there's some chemistry, and the texting is going well. But suddenly you decide to open up about your journey, about yourself. You feel a little bit vulnerable to do this over text, but you do it. And she just stops replying out of nowhere. You double text, still no answers, and you're like, what the fuck just happened?
So what the fuck happened?
This is exactly what happened to my client a few weeks ago, and it was really painful for him because he really cared about this woman. He enjoyed the interaction, he was attracted to her, and she just stopped texting like this when he opened up. She asked him, how have you been? And because they didn't meet for 3 years, he thought, okay, I should share a little bit about what happened in my life the past 3 years. And he did that, but she didn't receive it so well because she never texted again. He double texted. She obviously didn't reply, and she hasn't replied since then. He's feeling rejected. He's not feeling good inside, obviously, feeling a little bit lonely, and he's feeling like, what just happened? Like, why did she do that? Did I do something wrong, or is it her stuff? Like, he was super confused about the whole situation. So that's why he joined my mentoring program. And on our first session, we just went straight to the text conversation because obviously it was the burning subject. So as I looked through the conversation, I could see that it was going pretty well. But when I saw the long message that he sent after she asked him about how he has been, I could sense that there was something a little bit off. And I instantly asked him, like, okay, why did you send such text? And the first answer that he gave me was like, well, we didn't meet for 3 years. I had to share something. And then I asked him, yeah, but what was your intention behind this text? What did you really wanted to convey? And he started to think a little bit about what I just asked him, and then something came up. And he told me, well, in a way, I wanted to impress her. I wanted to show her that my life the past 3 years has been really difficult. I went through a lot of shit, and I was able to handle it. And I, in a way, wanted to seek her validation through this text. When he said this, obviously I knew and I wasn't surprised, and it made sense because women will instantly sense when you seek their validation. And for women, it's an instant turn-off because you put them on the pedestal and you see yourself as lower than them. So imagine, like, if you're a woman, if you take the perspective of a woman and you see a man that sees himself as lower than her, why would you feel attracted to this man? Why would you feel any interest? Why would you want to even date this person? You wouldn't want, because you want a man who is going to take care of you. You want a man who is dominant, who is masculine, who is confident in himself. Not someone that is seeking validation in a very subtle way, in a very sneaky way, right? And women have developed this sixth sense from a long time, many, many years. It's called evolutionary biology. It's a whole area of study. You can look it up. David Boss is the godfather of evolutionary biology. I've read most of his books. And I know this to be true. When you seek woman's validation, it's an instant turn-off because it signals that you're a beta male and not an alpha male. And she's just not going to seek anything from you if you do that. Now, it wasn't finished here because, okay, he was seeking her validation. He was, trying to impress her, trying to show her how cool he is. But there was something else also at play here. And this is why I'm making these videos, because when you text with a woman, your intentions are not always that simple. They're not always like on the surface level. Yeah, okay, you're opening up, but what's underneath you opening up? What's underneath this text message? What is your true intention, right? So what I asked him was a very interesting question that I asked to a lot of my clients. And it's about vulnerability, because I know that some of you think that you should not be vulnerable with a woman, or some of you might think that you should be vulnerable with a woman, but you don't know how to be vulnerable with a woman, because you know that too much vulnerability can scare away a woman, right? I know this to be true again, because whenever I shared too much to a woman that wasn't ready for this, it repulsed her. So the question I asked to my client was, did she earn your trust for you to open up this much? Let me repeat. Did she earn your trust for you to open up this much? He was thinking a little bit, but obviously the answer was no. Even though they met 3 years ago and they had a good time together, they was 3 years apart. How can he really know this woman when they are 3 years apart? Maybe she changed, maybe she evolved, maybe she became even more toxic. He doesn't know that. So sharing this level of vulnerability to someone that cannot receive you is a terrible idea, because you don't know how this person is going to receive you, right? That's why whenever you're vulnerable with someone, not just with women, this is a lesson, like a general lesson about vulnerability. Do not share your vulnerability to someone who is not going to receive it well. So this means that whichever person you're interacting with needs to earn your trust. How does this person earn your trust? This is a subject in itself, but in very simple, you want to go bit by bit about your vulnerability. So what do I mean with this? Let's say that you just met a woman and you suddenly feel like you want to open up about something. You first ask yourself, is she going to receive that? Probably the answer is going to be no. So now ask yourself, okay, is there an information about myself that I can share that I'm totally okay she's not going to receive it, or she will receive it? Like, I'm totally okay with the outcome of being received or not. If the answer is like, okay, this information I can share, I don't care how she will react, share it, right? And then pay very close attention to her reaction, because this will tell absolutely everything. So if she's going to try to manipulate you after you share something about yourself, you know this is not a good woman to share anything. If she's using gaslighting techniques on you to make you feel bad, then you know this is not a woman to share anything with. But if she's receiving it with compassion, if she's listening to you, if she can understand you fully, then you know that you can open up a little bit more and continue to test this woman until you know for sure that this woman, no matter what, she's going to receive you 100%. This is exactly what I did with my girlfriend. When I met her, I was not oversharing everything, I was keeping bits by bits, I was not trying to impress her or to show her how cool I am, and I could. I have such a crazy life. I was traveling like a digital nomad for the past 4 years. I lived like a monk for 8 months, doing yoga 1 hour and a half every day. I'd had so many crazy experiences. I could go on and on and on and on. But I also know that I don't know her. At least back then, 2 years ago, right? I didn't know her. So how can I be sure that she's going to receive me well? Because I don't want to share something to someone and then have her reject me, or have her ignore me, or just try to change me, or whatever the fuck. This is a terrible way to handle vulnerability. But it also comes with your responsibility, right? You are the one sharing something, right? So it's your responsibility if she reacted bad, if she flaked on you, right? Because you shared something that should have never been shared in the first place, right? I hope this makes sense. I understand that it's a little bit complex, this whole thing of texting from your true intentions, from your true self, being really authentic with a woman. But as you can see, if I would tell you to be yourself right now when you text a woman, it would be a terrible idea, because you don't know what's underneath your intentions. That's why you need to do the internal work to understand why you do certain things. Why do you seek women's validation? Oh, maybe because I don't feel good enough. Maybe because I feel inadequate. Maybe because I'm scared of getting rejected. Maybe because I don't want to be alone. So that's why I'm seeking women's validation. Aha. So let me first solve my inadequacies, my fear of rejection, my fear of loneliness, and then I can text from a much more confident place, much more attractive place, much more masculine place. Can you see the connection? You do the internal work to show up differently in your life. Internal work is not just a mental masturbation, like you sit and meditate for hours on end and then you do nothing. No, you do the internal work, but then you have to test it out in real life, right? So yeah, you solve your inadequacies, fear of loneliness, fear of rejection and stuff like that. And then you show up differently when you have an interaction with a woman, when you text with a woman, when you have a date. Yeah. Same thing with oversharing. Like, why do you do this? Are you aware that she might not receive you well? And if that's the case, do you really want to share this stuff to her? And can you see that when you act like this, you suddenly become the price, right? Not that you should be the price and she should be lower than you. You are both the price, right? But you should not see yourself as lower than her because you really are not. And if you see yourself lower than her, then it's probably a reflection of your lack of self-worth. Thank you for watching, my brother. If you want a free course to help you attract one date opportunity every week with your ideal woman using the masculine alignment process, you can click on the link down below in the description. It's totally for free, like really, you just have to give me your email and you get a whole framework teaching you masculinity, a little bit of internal work, and helping you attract one date opportunity every week with your 10 out of 10. I see you, my brother.